This is not going to be a full RuPaul's Drag Race breakdown, blah, blah, blah. I'm just using this specific moment, event, issue, whatever you want to call it, to Trojan horse a different conversation in, basically. This is a Trojan horse. Titans? No, it wasn't Titans. Gladiator? They're Trojan, that's why it's a Trojan horse. Who do I look like? Helen of Troy?
Oh!
Ooh, we got a big one today. Ooh, big mug. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore, and love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Is for the way we undermine our spiritual minds when we realize that we've got some shadow work to do. And I is the I sent in the message following. Am depressed today. Please, God, just let the sun explode so we can all go home, 'cause love is not gonna cut it right here. Oh, love. It used to be cute, but you know what? No more, my dear. Oh, two in love can't even make it. The planet is dying and I can no longer fake it. Love was made for me and you. Hi. Don't ask me for the mixtape. I black out and start doing this stuff. I truly was possessed. I don't know what that was. I promise you, there was no rehearsing. There was no, I have a teleprompter, but it's not here. This was, it's from the jazz roots, improv. Skibbity bap bap, skibbity boop 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 boop. Okay, sorry. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Khadija, nieces, nephews, nibblings, aunties, uncles, pibblings. Y'all know what to do, but if you're new, feel free to take a look around, suss out the vibe, and just sit in my workspace and talk about whatever I want. And we just get all cozy and just chat, and we just like sit around looking at the world burn, and we're like, wow.
Wow.
Today, though, I want to talk about something that it didn't happen recent. It's still recent, but it is having to do with the recent cast announcement for RuPaul's Drag Race. And I just want to say that this is not going to be a full RuPaul's Drag Race breakdown, blah, blah, blah. I'm just using this specific moment, event, issue, whatever you want to call it, to Trojan horse a different conversation in, basically. This is a Trojan horse. Titans? No, it wasn't Titans. Gladiator? They're Trojan, that's why it's a Trojan horse. Who do I look like? Helen of Troy?
Oh!
So let us pay some bills, make sure the crew is taken care of, even though they didn't help me in this video. I'm kidding, Travis might be editing this. Just kidding. And give a shout to the sponsor, and then let's get back into it. Thank you to Sundance Now for sponsoring this portion of today's video. As I told y'all last week, I'm not gonna lie, I have been putting on a good face, but I've been pretty down. I've been tired. It's this time of year. I live in a cold city, so it gets dark at 4 p.m. So I have been binge watching I've just been watching a lot. And one of the platforms I've been using and am excited to continue using through the
dead
of winter is Sundance Now. So Sundance Now is an ad-free streaming service created by AMC Networks. Y'all remember AMC? They used to always have movies. I just always remember them having like really good movies on the weekend back when cable. This doesn't matter. But Sundance also features a lot of original content as well. They got their drama, their romance, the thrillers, all that good stuff. So you can actually stream Sundance on all of your devices for as low as $4.99 a month. So I've been really wanting to do a video about cults and things like that. And I know that's kind of weird. I still haven't done it yet, but in the meantime, I've been doing little research here and there, and I really wanted to watch this documentary, Jonestown, and found out that it was on Sundance Now, and I was like, ah! So I was watching that.
Wait, Leonardo DiCaprio produced this?
Really trying to understand how people's charisma just really gets them to get people to do the wildest. Sundance Now is super easy to download as well. You can use the app on Apple, Android devices, Amazon Fire, Google Chromecast, and Roku. So if you want to start streaming your next obsession, try Sundance Now free for 30 days by going to sundancenow.com and using promo code Khadija. The link will be in my description. Thank you to Sundance Now for sponsoring this portion of today's video, and let's get back into it. So Drag Race recently announced their season 14 cast. It's the queens, meet the queens, queens reveal, all that stuff. It's where you get to see the first look at the queens. You get to stalk them on Instagram. You get to see their outfits, make your first impressions, and everybody's like, this is the person that's gonna win. This person isn't gonna win, and make all the judgments based off of like 5 minutes of talking to them. So, you know, they do this, they've been doing it for the past few years. And this year, they had a very interesting announcement. When they revealed the cast, they revealed that for the first time ever, there is going to be a straight cis male drag queen on the show. And people were surprised. I don't know. Now I'm gonna tell y'all honestly, I didn't read stuff for this or anything like that. I'm literally just coming to you with my thoughts about it, and I'm trying not to speak about the drag world and just speak about what this says about our greater world, because I'm not a drag queen. There are drag queens all up and through YouTube that can talk to you about this. Bob, the drag queen, and Monet X Change also on their Patreon did a video talking about this. And just if you're looking for people that are in the culture, the specific like they do this, then there are plenty of videos out there. I'll link some below, but yeah, like up anyway. But a lot of the fandom, people have talked about how toxic RuPaul's Drag Race fandom is, but a lot of the fandom was really upset by this, thinking, you know, oh, they're taking away opportunities from other queens, trans queens of color, all this other stuff. I am not here to argue or detest that or anything like that. What I am more so thinking about is what this is going to potentially do and what it is already doing in terms of gender expression and heterosexuality and cis heteronormativity. So let's get into it. Those are big words, but we're gonna sit crooked and talk straight. Say the phrase again. One thing I will say though is that I understand that there might be people, especially in queer spaces, that are frustrated by this, because it's like, okay, I get it. We want to be inclusive, blah, 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 blah. Nobody likes a gatekeeper. But at the same time, do we need to start gatekeeping these things because the straights steal everything? I get it. However, yet and still, let's talk about the gender stuff, because that's the juicy bit. So when I first heard about this, I wasn't really sure how I felt. I just was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is actually kind of fascinating and incredible, because though I didn't love Maddie Morphous's outfit, not gonna lie, girl, sorry. Your face is beat though. I have talked on this channel and in my regular life, whatever, about wanting of men to embrace femininity a bit more, because as a society, you know, psychological patriarchy, political patriarchy, whatever you want to call it, we tend to appreciate masculinity. We tend to appreciate and revere strength and all of the attributes that one associates with masculinity. Femininity, on the other hand, it still has its value, and we should all hold and try to find balance between the two, my belief. But oftentimes in society, femininity is demonized. It's looked down on, it's seen as less than, it's just the lesser of the two dichotomies. So when a cis man is willing to embrace more femininity, there are a few different responses, and Maddie Morphosis is getting that. One of them is that, why would you want to embrace that? You know, being a cis-het man, straight man especially, having this passed down power, having all of that just by nature of being clocked, coded, whatever, as a cis straight dude, especially a cis straight white dude, there is this weird tension when somebody seems like they're giving that up to embrace more femininity. You know, there's this weird, why would you want to do that? I think Jessie Gender actually talked about this recently, which is why it's on my mind, about how that can be seen in the way cis men treat trans women as part of the hatred. Is part of it is like, well, why would you choose to give up being a guy when nothing's better than being a dude, man? You know, like, it's okay. Check out Jessie Gender, hey! But oftentimes, yes, men are met with this kind of disgust, and you can see that as well in the way that Lil Nas X is treated. He's seen as if he never spoke and just stood there. He's got dark skin, he's sort of muscular, he's got a deep, I guess he did speak a little bit. He's got a deep voice, you know, so he's coded as this hyper-masculine man, but he embraces the femininity, the outward femininity, I should say. I don't know his personal life, but what we have attributed to femininity, girliness, whatever you want to call it. And people are so upset with that, you know? There's this, why would you choose to be weaker? Why would you choose to be lesser? Do you see? Now, this is obviously speaking to perhaps a straight or a cis-het audience that sees Maddie Morphosis and is like, what the heck? You know, that's definitely more so the argument. Because as I said before, I know that for a lot of queer folks, it's not about that. It's just about the fact that, like, damn it, are cis straight white men gonna have every corner of the world? You know, I get it. But his name isn't on the show. RuPaul's is. And the other part of this, though, that I find so interesting, and I'm going to tell a story to kind of lead into it, is that when I first started giving Feek the Signifier some shout outs, I just thought his channel was really great, whatever. And then he did a video on this Hotepi movie. It was this whole thing. And of course, he was getting a lot of hate in his comments. I think he said to this date it's his most disliked video. And so I was like, okay, let's send over some reinforcements for him. Made a video, shouted him out, send over some reinforcements and stuff. But my hope either way, not just about sending reinforcements, was that by making his channel more popular, there would be more cis-het, straight black men, racialized black men, that would hear it from him. And the it is anything I say on this channel, essentially. I thought, you know, some guys are not ready to hear me tell them about reading racialized black feminist literature, or tell them about reading the 2 favorite books that I will talk about at the end of this video, The Will to Change by Bell Hooks and How Can I Get Through to You by Terrence Real. You know, they're not going to hear it from me because of the way that I look, because of the body I am in. It is just the fact. Some dudes just aren't, but some guys are going to hear it from Feek if they see him, because there's a respect there or something. Do you know what I mean? And I know that that is frustrating, and that's something we have to tackle all in itself. That's something we've got to work on. Don't get it twisted. But for me, sometimes I wonder, are we as invested in the change that we want to see, or in just the malignant moaning? Because in my mind, yeah, I was a bit annoyed about the idea. It does annoy me that I will say things and foreign man in a foreign land asked me this. Also, check out his channel as well, please. He asked me this specifically. Does it annoy you that, like, you'll say things and, like, maybe people won't hear from you, but then somebody else says it and they hear it? And I'm so used to that in a sad way that I've kind of just been like, it's whatever. But I'm also just like, I don't need my ego to be involved in this. Like, all I want at the end of the day of our Mega Earth group project is for people to be better. And if I'm speaking to a member of the group and they just don't want to hear me, they don't understand me, I'm going to bring somebody else in that can translate what I'm saying. Even if they're saying it in the exact way I am, the person's implicit bias that they don't want to check, they're gonna hear it better from that other person because of whatever body they're in. And that's a sad truth. And I know that's something, again, we need to tackle on its own. But in the meantime, in between time, my ego doesn't care who finally shakes someone clear and is like, hey, misogynoir is real. Can you chill? Like, it doesn't matter to me who finally does it right now, as long as it gets the message out first. Because to me, communication is key. And I was talking with my dad about this the other day. You can't talk to somebody if they're not operating with the same tools as you. If I am good at communicating my needs and feelings and somebody that I know is not, no matter what I say to that person, if I'm speaking in that way of being very articulate about my emotions and all of that, the other person is not, if they don't have the language, the tools, the skills to understand me, the conversation's doomed before it even started. So for me, if I'm gonna be yelling at these dudes, and I'm being really specific, but if I'm gonna yell at these dudes about the way we demonize femininity and hetero masculine hegemony, blah, 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 I first need them to even believe in the notion that it could be possible that psychological patriarchy is real and affects them in every way, every day. I need them to be able to believe that first before I can have a discussion with them about it and tackle the problem of, okay, now that you understand that this is a real issue, that patriarchy isn't just men rule, get paid more, whatever. It's psychological, and it happens in many different ways, and women can perpetuate it. Any of us, no matter what your gender is, expression, identity, nibblings, nephews, nieces, aunties, uncles, piblings. Wow, I said it out of order and then I got tongue twisted. But no matter who you are, you can perpetuate that psychological patriarchy too. It's a safe space here. It's fine, admit it. You have to first believe that. You have to first believe that what I'm telling you is a real issue, a real problem that affects people. And then you're able to empathize more and understand, and are willing to understand more. And if somebody like Feek telling you works out better for you because you're actually finally able to hear it, then I'm fine. Because as long as we get that door cracked open, that door of ignorance cracked open, some light comes through and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay. Then we can worry about the other stuff of, hey, let's examine and unpack why you didn't want to hear it from somebody like Khadijah versus someone like Feek. Hey, guess what? Also has to do with that psychological patriarchy. Isn't that weird? Hey, I think in this day and age, it's kind of like, ugh, because more people don't want to admit or just be radically honest with themselves and stop and investigate for a second and go, maybe I don't care as much about this as I think I do. Or maybe I actually don't want men to be hetero men especially, but cishet men in general, to be more empathetic and understanding and really trying to do the quote unquote work. Maybe I just want my space gate kept and to myself, and I don't want them anywhere near it. And if that's the case, say it with your chest. It's all good. I can't tell you how to live. What? Allegedly, I'm a libertarian. I'm kidding, I'm not. Now, I cannot take credit for a lot of the opinions and views expressed on here because, as I've told y'all in my For the Boys video, card, check it out, I had a very different perspective about all of this. Two books that really helped me kind of expand my thinking, challenged me. Somebody commented on my Instagram and was like, man, I had to throw that book at the wall and then picked it back up or something like that. And I was like, me too. But those two books are How Can I Get Through to You by Terrence Real. I talk about this book all the time. It's absurd. And then, of course, The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. I got this book. Ooh, the battery's about to die. God damn it! Not this battery being dead too. No. Lord. Both my batteries were dead. I'm missing a third one. I had to just charge everything and take a little break. So I read this book first, and then I read How Can I Get Through to You, because Bell Hooks talks a lot about Terrence Real's book. She references it a lot. These are two books that I recommend in considering how, especially if you're raised, socialized as a young woman, how that can impact your thoughts as well, the stuff that you might internalize about what men should or shouldn't be, what they can or can't be, what they should or shouldn't be allowed to do. I'm more so speaking this whole time about the action. What does it mean and what could it do for the future to have someone like a Maddie Morphosis in a show like RuPaul's Drag Race, on a show, sorry, weird preposition. But what does it mean to have that? Especially how will that impact young folks? You know, we talk a lot about how representation matters, and I know that it's annoying to think about it in the way of straight white men, because it's like, okay, well, don't they get represented everywhere?
My drag.
Trust me, I keep having to reiterate this because people will not meet you in good faith all the time, but I understand. What I'm saying though is, back to the ego thing, back to all of it. At the end of the day, you kind of have to examine your motives and decide, okay, do I care about the messaging and the clear communication coming across so that this person that maybe, this man that maybe does not understand the struggles that I have to go through being in X body, do I really want them to understand it, or at least start to have the tools, developing the language and the skill set to understand it? If so, then maybe having someone like a Maddie Morphosis on the show isn't gonna bother me, because it's like, okay, hopefully more straight dudes that watch with their girlfriends will show their other friends and be like, no, dude, I thought it was, I'm so rude. Sorry, Chad, Dylan, Michael, Brad, but here we go. Nah, dude, I thought it was like so girly, but like this guy, he's like in a relation, like he's straight, like he has a wife and stuff. He just like, you know, I don't know if he has a wife, but you know, he likes to put on makeup, and it's like, it was pretty cool. Like, actually, I was like, oh wow, you know, it's not like just for gay dudes, you know? I'm sorry. Because it's not just white dudes that would think that. But you know, if I'm a person that really just wants more straight men to just soften a bit more and develop the tools, then a Maddie Morphosis on RuPaul's Drag Race isn't gonna bother me, especially since it's like the 14th season and there have been so many other seasons. Like, the RuPaul's Drag Race has been on the air for a while. So I think it's like, some people say it's time, who knows? But if I'm somebody that isn't interested in that, or I am interested in them straight men being better, but I'm kind of just like, be better over there. Don't do it over here, like, bye. Why do you need to take up our space? Then you kind of have to examine if you're like that too. And if that's the case, like, just be honest with yourself and be honest with others. If it's like, no, I just want my space to be my space. I want queer folks to be left alone or whatever. I would though, however, encourage you to listen to drag queens that are actually like working and stuff, or have been drag queens and worked, because as far as I know, having a straight male drag queen isn't new. It's not super common, but it's not new. And also it's the same thing with Victoria Scone when she was on UK Drag Race this season, but had to anyway. Like, some people were like, oh, and assigned female, an AFAB girl on the show. And it's like, the fandom, I should say. And meanwhile, all the other queens had to come out and be like, yes, there are AFAB drag queens out there. In my mind, because drag is one of the best ways we examine gender performance in the contemporary sense. I don't know, I just think it's very interesting, not just when you're at a drag show, but when you're on YouTube and Trixie and Katya are talking and they're just having like potty humor or whatever, you know, like very like duty kind of humor, but they're in drag and stuff.
You're Mary's West Hollywood.
The incomparable.
The incomparable. The legendary. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Playing around with pronouns, you know, like, it's just, there's a lot of really interesting ways that drag as an art form and as a form of expression, there's a lot of interesting ways that it creates or it displays our, would it be cognitive dissonance about gender for some of us? I don't know, it's very interesting, and this is a very interesting time to consider these questions, to consider a Maddie Morphosis on the show and the impact that might have, and perhaps the widening intolerance that might have. And we can also think that that's cool whilst acknowledging the frustration of, oh, now straight people are gonna be more tolerant because there's a straight person on the show. But I've spoken to y'all about empathy and stuff, and how Paul Bloom thinks about it as a spotlight, and it gets dimmer the further out you go. It's like shines for the people closest to us. But sometimes I think about it as shines for the people that look the most like us, or that we think we can see ourselves the most in. So you're more likely to empathize with somebody that has the same sort of like, maybe, and I'm not saying this is fact, I'm saying it as a consideration. Perhaps you're more likely to empathize with somebody that looks more like you or become more understanding. And maybe straight guys need to see a drag queen that's straight on the whole season, not just that one episode where they dress up the military, even though it was, yeah, but they're cis men. You know, they dress up the military or anything like that. Like, they maybe need to see a straight male drag queen the whole season. Maybe he is the Trojan horse, if you will. Oh, we've come full circle. Finally, I brought it back. But maybe Matty Morphosis is a Trojan horse to widen it to a straighter audience, and maybe, and hopefully, I know hope is the root of all suffering.
I know.
But hopefully that kind of audience widening will attract those audience members to come for Matty Morphosis, but stay for all of the other queens. Do you know what I mean? And realize and see the humanity in not just drag queens and queer folks, but just, yeah, like just all of us leg booties. I'm sorry, I need to stop saying it like that. But you know what I mean? So I know I stay cautiously optimistic, and some of you might think that that's ridiculous because you're just like, no, this is just another way for RuPaul to get more money and be corporate. I'm not denying that either. I'm saying all of these things can be true. I'm saying RuPaul could be doing this to get more views from a wider audience of straight folks, for shock value, for whatever. Or he could also just be doing this because he's like, hey, we need to push the conversation forward. Let's actually make drag challenge the way we talk about gender. Cool. Those things can all be true. And it can also be true that Matty Morphosis is taking up space in a lane where, yeah, queer folks were denied spaces. Balls came out of being denied certain spaces. So I understand that it's like, okay, y'all are everywhere. You take up everything. Let us have this. I get it. And I also think that I want us to have our space, but I'm like, what do I care about more? The division and having a safe space by myself, or not by myself, but with the people that resemble me or that are part of my group identity, whatever, or opening it up a bit, risking it being taken over or being, I don't know, corporatized and all of that, for the chance that it could change some hearts and minds possibly, and therefore, in terms of policy or systemic change, ripple out. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Like, what do I care about more in this moment? And what am I privileged to care about more in this moment? Because I have to consider that too. Like, for some folks, it's not just hurt feelings and annoyances that straight folks are taking up space. It's also just like trans women are dying, and we need that visibility in a different way. There needs to be that visibility in I am telling my story, yes, even if it's reality TV and editing, but I am a human. Here I am speaking to you. Look at me. See my humanity. That's something that I'm also thinking about too, like considering the privilege that I have to not have to be able to go, well, maybe it is a good thing for the straight folks. So don't get it twisted, I understand. These are just all the things that I'm pondering. Just, yeah, gender expression and identity and how this might change things or might make things worse or stay the same. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. This is my last video of the year. Oh shit. I'm not releasing a video next week. This is it. C'est fini. I will see y'all again in January though. I'll be making some videos there. But as I said in my community post, that is gonna be trimmed down. My uploading schedule is not gonna be as vigorous as it was this year. I was on my Casey Nygaard, is that the guy? I think that's the guy. He did a vlog a day. I did a video essay commentary thing a week. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm excited about it because I really do wanna take more time to create and enjoy the process of that creation as opposed to just going on autopilot, doing the task at hand and then just being like, okay, here's another video, here's more content, you know? I really want it to, I don't know. I'm excited for this year or next year. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I really want to get my mind right for it, whatever it is. And I think the best way to do that is to just, slow down on the upload schedule. Maybe I'll do more lives in between videos and stuff. Yeah, I don't really know, but I'm just trying to really force myself to take a break because I do dream of labor. But I do like working, and it can be hard because once you stop, you gotta listen to the demons. Katya said, is there a cacophony of demonic anyway, okay. But yeah, I hope y'all have a wonderful holiday, a wonderful rest of your year. If you're working a lot, I hope you're making some kind of money and that people are not being assholes, because y'all, it's the holidays, be kind. It's a tough time of year for a lot of folks. Like, come on, just come on. Tip your servers a little extra, okay? I hope y'all have a fun New Year's. I hope you have a safe New Year's, I know we outside, but we don't need to be outside. Listen, if you're trying to make New Year's plans and your friends are flaking and it's a group thing and it's too late for people to be flaking. If they're flaking, cut them, bye. Cut them down. You make plans for yourself and you figure out what you're doing, because you do not want to be bummed out on you. You don't want to do it. Don't do it. Also, journal out some intentions. Those are always fun to do. When I do that, I feel like I really set myself up for the year, Be sure to feed your plants, to water your plants. And remember that you can always change your mind, because you can. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Oh, goodbye. Oh no, I gotta do both hands. This has been a whole year. I get so sentimental around this time of year. I'm so like, should our acquaintance be forgot and never come to mind? I'm very, okay, this is not, okay. Why am I acting like I'm gonna miss y'all? Okay, people always talk about parasocial relationships and the audience to the item of parasociality, whatever that is. But what about the other way? Because why am I out here thinking I'm gonna miss y'all? I don't know y'all. This is not safe. I don't know you, Helen. Okay, sorry. Oh my God. I'm trying to make so many callbacks. Okay. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. No, you hang up first. Fine. Bye. All right, we're getting back in. And it just really challenged me, and oh my God, my neighbors are walking right now. They are walking. Okay, let me get the books. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought because I went on so many tangents. Hold on. Montreal, buildings are old. What can you do? Anyway. Nibblings, demblings, it's why the rent's so cheap. Okay, what? Okay. But, hold on. And I just want to say, that was weird emphasis. Drag Race recently announced their so stupid. Fastest RuPaul's Drag. Anyway. Okay, Travis, you can keep that in. You can keep that in. Just not the I'm so stupid part. I hope this lighting isn't weird. I can't speak today. Calm down. Okay. Whew. You let me know which intro's better and you pick, okay? So, don't worry. S stands for the I that I... Or maybe I will do the intro. Oh God, I messed up. No, I thought too much about it. My tongue's blue. Let me start again. Let me try it again. Hold on. Oh, fuck. This better be recording. Okay, good, it's recording. You can include all of this, Travis. Darling Queen.